Toby Marshall, Aaron Paul, is a former race car driver who owns a Mount Kisco, New York garage, which was owned by his late father, where he and his friends service and tune cars. Struggling to make ends meet, he and his crew, consisting of Little Pete Coleman, Toby's protege, Benny the Maverick, the team's air recon pilot, Joe Peck, the team's mechanic, and Finn, the team's computer genius, race at night using their modified cars. After a local racing gathering, Dino Brewster, Dominic Cooper, Toby's former rival also from Mount Kisco, arrives at his garage with an offer to complete the build of a rare Ford Shelby Mustang worked on by the late Carroll Shelby along with Ford. Dino wants Toby and his crew to complete the project in exchange for 25% of the car's estimated selling price of $2 million. Toby is first reluctant, since Dino is his rival and also took Anita, his former girlfriend and Pete's older sister, from him. However, due to the mortgage problems, he accepts the deal. Upon completion of the project, the Shelby Mustang is put up for auction at a party. Toby, Pete and Dino meet Julia, Imogen Poots, an Englishwoman who agrees to pay $3 million if the car can go over 230 miles per hour, as Toby claims. The next morning at a nearby track, Toby drives the Mustang against Dino's objections and sets it to 234 miles per hour, which prompts Julia to buy it for $2.7 million. Enraged by Toby's humiliation, and further by Pete's comments that Toby is a better driver than him, Dino challenges Toby and Pete to race his uncle's 3 Koenigsegg Ageras, illegal in the United States because of their powerful and fast engines, from his uncle's mansion to a bridge over Interstate 684. If Toby wins, he gets Dino's 75% of the Mustang deal. If he loses, he gives up his 25%. The guys agree to the deal and decide to race. They manage to outmatch Dino as they race through the highway. However, Dino, who actually took the deal to get revenge on Toby, T-bones Pete, causing him to crash the car and sending it over the bridge, killing Pete. Dino escapes, framing Toby and reporting that they stole his cars, but that there was no third car. Dino had managed to hide his car somewhere so that Toby couldn't prove his story, and that they only stole 2 cars, resulting in Toby being sent to prison for car theft and involuntary manslaughter. 2 years later, Toby is released on parole, and he sets out to avenge Pete's death. With the help of Benny, he is able to borrow the Shelby Mustang he had worked on from Julia. Toby wants to enter the DeLeon, a winner-take-all race organized by Monarch, Michael Keaton, an anonymous race enthusiast who created it with the winner taking the cars of all the losers. For this, they have to reach San Francisco before the race starts in 2 days. Julia is adamant to join Toby as she wouldn't leave her car in the hands of an ex-con. On his way to Detroit, Toby drives like a maniac, hoping to scare Julia off. Julia is in tears but persists. Meanwhile, Dino is a premier car dealership owner, which is in trouble. He needs big financing to rescue the venture, but the investor asks Dino to win the DeLeon again. On the way with Toby, Julia realizes that Toby is racing in the DeLeon to avenge Pete. With his crew reassembled, Toby and Julia initiate a high-speed chase on the streets of Detroit, where Finn works. Using the video footage of the chase and Julia's reasoning about Toby's innocence, they manage to get an invite from Monarch to the DeLeon. However, Dino, learning of Toby's plan, offers his rare Lamborghini Sesto Elemento to anyone who can prevent Toby from entering the race, and uploads the pictures of the Elemento and Toby's Mustang to Monarch's site. The pair reach Utah, only to have their Mustang forced off-road by a couple of trucks that surround it by a cliff, whose drivers are also for Dino's prize. But Benny appears in a Sea King helicopter he stole from the National Guard and tows the Shelby Mustang mid-air to the Bonneville Salt Flats, where Peck and Finn await them. Benny is later arrested by the military for theft of the helicopter. After a long drive, Toby and Julia manage to arrive in San Francisco to register for the race, but Julia has to be hospitalized as a result of the murder attempt by Dino's right-hand man by ramming the Mustang with a truck. Meanwhile, Anita has become aware of Dino's plans after hearing the bet with the Elemento. She searches his computer and discovers the Agera R, which Dino drove when Pete was killed, is stored in a local warehouse in San Francisco. The next morning, Toby arrives at the meeting on the Pacific Coast Highway and surprises Dino by not only showing up in the Koenigsegg Agera R, but also giving him Anita's ring, revealing to him that Anita knows the truth about Pete's death. The De Leon race is grueling, with the battle between the racers and the California Police Department wrecking a number of cop cars and the racers' cars one by one, leaving Toby and Dino to race side by side along the Pacific Coast Highway. Toby manages to take the lead, and when Dino tries to T-bone his car, Toby slams the brakes, causing Dino's Elemento to flip and crash. However, arriving near the lighthouse, Toby changes his mind and drives back to the wrecked Elemento and rescues Dino from the burning wreckage, also knocking him out as revenge for Pete's death. Toby does finish and win the race, but then both of them are arrested by the California Highway Patrol while Toby looks at the lighthouse, realizing that it's the home of the reclusive monarch, as well as realizing that little Pete's vision that he spoke about earlier on has become a reality. With the missing Koenigsegg found, Dino is sent to prison for murdering Pete. Toby serves 6 months in prison for illegal street racing before he is once again released and reunites with Julia in a brand new red 2015 Ford Mustang. Peck and Finn contact them, saying that they have to go back to Utah to pick up Benny from prison, as Benny is being released for good behavior since he started a fitness program for the inmates. Toby sits behind the wheel, and the two drive off.